Welcome to our channel Creatures Kingdom. Snakes are elongated, limbless, carnivorous reptiles of the suborder Serpentis. Like all other squamates, snakes are ectothermic, amniote vertebrates covered in overlapping scales. Many species of snakes have skulls with several more joints than their lizard ancestors, enabling them to swallow prey much larger than their heads. To accommodate their narrow bodies, snakes' paired organs, such as kidneys, appear one in front of the other instead of side by side, and most have only one functional lung. Some species retain a pelvic girdle with a pair of vestigial claws on either side of the cloaca. Lizards have evolved elongate bodies without limbs or with greatly reduced limbs about 25 times independently via convergent evolution, leading to many lineages of legless lizards. These resemble snakes, but several common groups of legless lizards have eyelids and external ears, which snakes lack, although this rule is not universal. Living snakes are found on every continent except Antarctica, and on most smaller land masses. Exceptions include some large islands, such as Ireland, Iceland, Greenland, the Hawaiian archipelago, and the islands of New Zealand, as well as many small islands of the Atlantic and Central Pacific Oceans. Additionally, sea snakes are widespread throughout the Indian and Pacific Oceans. Sea snakes are widespread throughout the Indian and Pacific Oceans. More than 20 families are currently recognized. They range in size from the tiny, 10.4 centimeters long, 4.1 in, Barbados thread snake to the reticulated python of 6.95 meters, 22.8 feet, in length. The fossil species Titanoboa surajanensis was 12.8 meters, 42 feet, long. Snakes are thought to have evolved from either burrowing or aquatic lizards, perhaps during the Jurassic period, with the earliest known fossils dating to between 143 and 167 ma ago. The diversity of modern snakes appeared during the Paleocene epoch, circa 66 to 56 ma ago, after the Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction event. The oldest preserved descriptions of snakes can be found in the Brooklyn Papyrus. Most species of snake are non-venomous, and those that have venom use it primarily to kill and subdue prey rather than for self-defense. Some possess venom that is potent enough to cause painful injury or death to humans. Non-venomous snakes either swallow prey alive or kill by constriction. The English word snake comes from Old English snacka, itself from Proto-Germanic snacken, cf. Germanic snake, ring snake, Swedish snotgrass snake, from Proto-Indo-European root, s-neg-o to crawl to creep, which also gave sneak, as well as Sanskrit naga snake. The word ousted adder, as adder went on to narrow in meaning, though in Old English adder was the general word for snake. The other term, serpent, is from French, ultimately from Indo-European serp to creep, which also gave ancient Greek rho pi omega, herpo, I crawl. The fossil record of snakes is relatively poor because snake skeletons are typically small and fragile, making fossilization uncommon. Fossils readily identifiable as snakes, though often retaining hind limbs, first appear in the fossil record during the Cretaceous period. The earliest known true snake fossils, members of the crown group Serpentis, come from the marine Simoliophiids, the oldest of which is the late Cretaceous, Cenomanian age, Huschaphis terrasanctus, dated to between 112 and 94 million years old. Based on comparative anatomy, there is consensus that snakes descended from lizards. Pythons and boas, primitive groups among modern snakes, have vestigial, clawed digits known as anal spurs, which are used to grasp during mating. The families Leptotyphlopidae and Typhlopidae also possess remnants of the pelvic girdle, appearing as horny projections when visible. Front limbs are non-existent in all known snakes. This is caused by the evolution of their Hox genes, controlling limb morphogenesis. The axial skeleton of the snake's common ancestor, like most other tetrapods, had regional specializations consisting of cervical, neck, thoracic, chest, lumbar, lower back, sacral, pelvic, and caudal, tail, vertebrae. Early in snake evolution, the Hox gene expression in the axial skeleton responsible for the development of the thorax became dominant. As a result, the vertebrae anterior to the hindline buds, when present, all have the same thoracic-like identity, except from the atlas, axis, and 1 to 3 neck vertebrae. In other words, most of a snake's skeleton is an extremely extended thorax. Ribs are found exclusively on the thoracic vertebrae. Neck, lumbar and pelvic vertebrae are very reduced in number, only 2 to 10 lumbar and pelvic vertebrae are present, while only a short tail remains of the caudal vertebrae. However, the tail is still long enough to be of important use in many species, and is modified in some aquatic and tree-dwelling species. Many modern snake groups originated during the Paleocene, alongside the adaptive radiation of mammals following the extinction of non-avian dinosaurs. The expansion of grasslands in North America also led to an explosive radiation among snakes. Previously, snakes were a minor component of the North American fauna, but during the Miocene, the number of species and their prevalence increased dramatically with the first appearances of vipers and elapids in North America. The significant diversification of Colubridae, including the origin of many modern genera such as Nerodia, Lampropeltis, Pituophis, and Pantherophis. There are about 3,900 species of snakes, ranging as far northward as the Arctic Circle in Scandinavia and southward through Australia. Snakes can be found on every continent except Antarctica, as well as in the sea, and as high as 16,000 feet, 4,900 meters, in the Himalayan mountains of Asia. There are numerous islands from which snakes are absent, such as Ireland, Iceland, and New Zealand. Although New Zealand's waters are infrequently visited by the yellow-bellied sea snake and the banded sea crate, the reticulated python, Malaya python reticulatus, is a python species native to South and Southeast Asia. It is the world's longest snake, and listed as least concern on the Yukon Red List because of its wide distribution. In several countries in its range, it is hunted for its skin, for use in traditional medicine, and for sale as pets. It is an excellent swimmer, has been reported far out at sea, and has colonized many small islands within its range. It is among the 3 heaviest snakes. Like all pythons, it is a non-venomous constrictor. Adult humans have been killed, and in at least 2 reported cases, eaten, by reticulated pythons. The reticulated python was first described in 1801 by German naturalist Johann Gottlob Thieneschneider. Thanks for watching my video. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel Creatures Kingdom.